Hey, Mystic Michaela spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela. Today we have a special episode. This one is if you've ever been devastated by a pet's loss in your life. I got this episode for you because something really sad happened in our family not too long ago. But first, hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through this episode.
It's tough. It's tough.
You have to...
Yeah. Unfortunately, our cat, Rocky, we had him for about 12 years, something like around that. He was,
He was older.
Passed.
He did. And if you've been listening, you know I love the cat. I love my cats. And of course, I feel like there's been an uptick on the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family page of people posting very similarly. I lost my cat. I lost my dog. And I know, and I get it. You just feel so alone and so lost and so utterly gut punched. And I'm there with you today as we talk about it. This actually happened early June.
Yeah, this actually happened a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm taking your lead on this one.
Yeah.
And you don't tell anyone.
I don't.
And I don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
We told a couple, close people like my parents, but
yeah.
And your parents, of course, but usually we don't even mention it. Just like if someone notices when they come over that we're missing one of the three,
yes,
of course you'll say something, but it's not like something that you said or posted anywhere, or anything. So
I think we all deal with it in different ways.
Yeah,
and I feel like I could blame it on my indigo. I could blame it on the fact I was raised like suppress that, quickly like that. I could blame it on the fact I don't like to feel messy.
Right.
Because obviously when I mention him, this is what I turn into. And people don't know what to do with that. And then I feel like I'm trying to make them feel better about me being a mess. So people usually aren't used to me. Actually, my friend asked me straight up and I told her and I started crying and I could tell she didn't know what to do. So then I'm like, I'm fine. Then I'm like consoling someone else. Because people aren't used to me being a mess.
Yeah.
And when I talk about this, I am a mess.
Yeah.
And I can't even talk about him.
I know.
Without even crying.
We rescued him 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, 12 years ago.
12 years ago. He was a rescue. I think he was thrown out of a car.
He was.
And survived.
He was.
And for cats, and we've had a lot of cats.
Yeah.
We still have two now. We've had and all of our cats are rescues.
Yes.
Throughout the years. This cat was brilliant. Me and him fought we fought all the time.
Yeah.
And we had a love-hate relationship. But this was the smartest cat we have ever had. And it's not even close. He was like our Albert Einstein of cats.
He was so smart.
Our other cats, okay.
Right.
Dusty. We don't know what's going on all the time with Dusty. But Rocky was, he was brilliant.
He really
was a brilliant cat. So smart. And you and him, just... I can't believe I'm even saying this and telling this to thousands of people, but you guys actually talked with each other.
We did.
He didn't actually open his mouth and say words, but you knew exactly what he was thinking.
All the time.
What he wanted. Yeah. Everything. You guys were so in tune that way.
Yeah.
Me, probably, I think, just wanted to get rid of me and, eat me or something like that. Get rid of me. But, he was really brilliant. Really
he was a
brilliant
smart cat.
And, he was with us since the kids were little. He grew up with the kids. So, yeah, it's going to be tough.
It's tough. Really hard. It's hard to talk about, and it's something that I went from telling like minimal people to everybody. Yeah. But I figured I had to do this episode eventually.
Right. And it is one of the most, we get this request all the time about
what do I do?
What do I do?
And so
what are the signs?
What do I do? Stuff? How do they talk to me? How do I connect? And just how do I put one foot in front of the other after my pet dies? It is so difficult.
Right.
Yes, in a society, we don't quantify pain around here. Okay. So meaning I think a lot of us say in this world, oh, it's just a cat or it's just a dog or it's just a horse or it's just a bunny or something like that. You can't do that. You can't quantify pain. Pain is pain. So when somebody loses it, and a lot of you listening already get this, but I feel like I just want to validate your pain if, and say, actually in this space, it's okay to be sad because that is how they connect with you. And I'm going to talk about that coming up. I did want to talk about animals as messengers because I feel like that's something a lot of us recognize. I think throughout human history and cross-culturally, we have looked at animals as messengers. So what is that? I find that animals, because, and I think you could even explain this logically, they have heightened senses, just biologically, and they don't question things like we do. So I think we always notice cats or dogs or horses or animals noticing things that we don't. And when they cross over, they actually have a heightened ability to connect with us. We just have to pay attention to how they're doing it, which I'm going to talk about.
Right. And I think with Rocky, it came through right away.
Oh, my gosh.
We both have stories. I know you're going to
Yeah.
be telling these stories, but for me, and I think you'll tell us in a little bit, but
Yeah.
he was coming through our other cat,
Yes.
doing things. Our other cat, Binks, we have Dusty and Binks.
Mhm.
He was doing things through Binks that, used to annoy me. And then Binks was doing those things like the day that he died and
Yeah.
after that Rocky would do to
Yeah.
annoy me.
It was weird.
It's kind of calmed down now.
Yeah.
But at first he was, and I was like, wait, how's that possible?
Yes.
And you have definitely some stories with Rocky. And also other cats that passed too. Before that we had Rowie.
No, Rowie.
And Rowie always used to come to you.
Rowie.
Rowie was another love of your life.
Rowie. My cats. I love my cats.
Yeah. So
Rowie, and I think it's hard because just remembering Rowie, when I was pregnant with the kids, I was very, very sick, like all the time. And Rowie was with me for both pregnancies, meaning when I was laying in bed, staring at the wall, trying not to throw up for 5 months straight. That's, and no offense to everybody else in my life, but like, that's the one who was with me. Like he was, poor Scott, you were too. You were bringing me a Gatorade and taking care of everything. But you know what I mean? Like that cat was with me.
Right.
And what happened was when he passed, that's when the kids, I think Abby was brand new.
yeah.
And I didn't have a chance to grieve him. So I feel like Rocky dying, I'm sad about Rowie all over again because I never got the chance to really grieve him as deeply as I probably needed to and process that. Yeah. But yeah, this episode is for you. All right. And this is a tribute to Rocky. I'm calling it What Rocky Taught Me. Okay. He's taught me a lot. I'm always open to learning, and Rocky taught me some stuff that just blew my mind after he died, and I want to share that with you today. Okay. So,
all right, quick short break, and we'll get back to it.
Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
We are talking about Jenny Kane.
All right, let me tell you about Jenny Kane. These items, and you have a few of them in your closet, I'm going to say they are perfect for empaths.
I know.
For double empaths, so, our blues, our indigos, our purples, turquoises. It's just it's great clothing for them.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. It's perfect stuff.
It's luxurious and comfortable.
It screams double empath.
It does.
Yeah.
I get compliments every time. I mean, every time I wear a Jenny Kane sweater from you, mostly Scott, actually. And they're so comfortable. I can truly live in them all year long. I just got the mohair boyfriend cardigan. I got the olive color. It is absolutely gorgeous. Plus, everything in their collection is designed so intentionally that you can style pieces together without a second thought. I mean, I just love to pair their sweaters with everything from a classic denim to a simple dress. It's just looks that are effortless and so easily put together. Because Jenny Kane believes in the art of simplicity. They focus on comfort, quality, and timeless design. So you can curate a wardrobe that literally never goes out of style. And that's why I just love their products. Find your new uniform at jennykane.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code KYA at checkout. That's 15% off your first order, JENNIKAYNE.com, promo code KYA. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about. Embrace your summer aesthetic with Jenny Kane. This is going to be a really hard episode for me to record. And I have been putting it off because I lost my cat. I lost my cat 2 months ago, and his name was Rocky. And if you've been following a while, you know I love my cats. And I had 3 and now I only have 2. So as I do this, I have Rocky's picture in front of me. And it's been really, really hard. And so when I do mediumship episodes, I usually will give lessons that I've learned from spirit during mediumship, but I'll relay them with stories and insight from your readings. But today, I'm going to do what I've learned from spirit, but it's what Rocky taught me. So this episode is dedicated to Rocky, and it's what Rocky taught me, because he has taught me so much in this past 2 months about connecting with pets on the other side. I'm going to be honest, I have not been okay since Rocky died. And this episode, I don't want to pause it a whole lot. I just so bear with me. Okay. This is for you. If you have ever completely been shattered by the death of your pet, this episode is for you. Because I'm going to tell you something. It's not just a pet. These are our soulmates in this lifetime. They take care of us and we take care of them. They are our friends. They are just unconditional love. They're innocent. They're perfect. They're absolute perfection. And I think one of the first things before we get into it is about emotion. And if you want to have a good mediumship connection with anyone who's passed, you have to let yourself be sad. I say this all the time, but I'll say it again. When someone you love passes, you become the medium. And emotion is the conduit in which they are able to connect with you. So when you say something like, oh, it's just a cat, or I have to get over it, or I gotta get back to work, or I'm moving on, or whatever, it really does shut down the channel in which they're able to communicate with you on. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be devastated. It's okay to feel pain. And it's not something that'll go away, but it is something that you'll learn how to work around. When Rocky passed, the horror, the torture, the absolute gut-wrenching pain that we all were in over here, but it's just speaking for my own, it was paralyzing. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I don't know how. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I mean, it was bad. And as much as I wanted to shut that down, I decided not to. Of course, I've lost animals before. The last time I lost a cat, who was another soul cat of mine, it was right around the time I had a baby. And I think, even though I was sad, I was tired and busy and just like she was new. So I was in the feeding cycles and all that, and I didn't let myself feel it as much. So it's really compounded with Rocky passing. And our relationship, Rocky's and my relationship, was very, very strong. He was my friend. And this is going to be important for you with pet mediumship, because how your relationship was is how they're going to talk to you. And it's like, I do readings all the time. I love when you allow me to read for you. And when you give me pictures of your animals who've passed, I get to feel it all the time. They come through, but it's I feel it and I'm there with you. But I think because it was Rocky, it's my cat, I just learned a lot. So again, this episode is what Rocky taught me. All right. So number 1, I've said this before in other episodes. Oh, and if you want kind of a more general episode about pets in general and not hear about my experience, that would be, my experience with my own cat. More talking about my experiences with your cats and your dogs and whatnot. That would be episode 197 and 129. Or maybe you want to listen to all of them. All right. But number 1, first thing, I've said this before, but they will come through your other pets. Animals have a beautiful ability to channel, and they allow other animals to come through them all the time. And I say this all the time, and I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it in your animals, and I feel them telling me this. So, when I read for your pets who've died, but it happened after Rocky passed. So I have another cat named Binks, and and he's just kind of like, he's very sweet. And what happened was, all of a sudden, so before Rocky died, Rocky was sniffing around my husband's closet, which has a door. And I kept telling Scott, like, oh, he wants to go, there's a box in there that he loved to sleep in. And of course, it's filled with all of Scott's receipts that he collects throughout the year. And at the end of the year, he has his own system for taxes or whatever. So Rocky loved to sleep in that box. And Scott hated that Rocky would sleep in that box because, it's like cat fur all over his receipts. That's all. And so he was sniffing around. I'm like, Scott, keep that door shut, or else he's going to go sleep in the receipt box again. All right. But this was normal standard stuff. Like, you left the door open, Rocky's sleeping in that box. So right after Rocky died, all of a sudden, Binks just randomly was sleeping in that box. Never slept in it before. Never took interest or cared. And really, he did it one time, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, that's, it's Rocky behavior. Because when your other animals start doing things that they themselves did that was a unique thing to them, that is how your living animal is allowing them to kind of share space and visit. So when I saw Binks doing that, I was just beside myself, crying again, and just feeling his presence. I think the other thing I felt, I'm not even giving this like one of my numbers, it's just in general, like, I felt Rocky around really, really, really strong. And I felt him trying, oh God. Oh, yeah, sorry. Because I felt him trying to come back. Because he didn't want to go. I knew he didn't want to go. So I felt him trying to come back really hard. Like, trying to push through a barrier. I'm going to talk about that in a second, because I kept feeling him trying to push through a barrier. Like, and he was a really smart cat. He was very communicative. I mean, he and I had a really, like, he was my friend. Like, I talked to him like a person, and he always understood me. Like, he would come downstairs and just chirp at me, and I knew, oh, I got to refill your food or anything. Like, I knew exactly what he meant all the time, and I would tell him things, and he knew what I meant all the time. Like, this is the cat that if I, like, because I walk the kids to school and pick them up from school because it's right down the block, like, he would walk with me like a dog. People would comment, like, how did you train I'm like, no, I didn't train my cat. He just does that. And he walked in with me, walked out with me, no problem. He just felt I think, honestly, I was his territory. So he didn't like me to leave or something. So he had to come with me. That's what I think if I'm thinking cat. But he was I've never had a cat do that. Usually they freak out when they go outside or they run away or whatever. He didn't. He always stayed next to me and went in and then came back inside. I mean, he was just weird that way. And he was older. Anyway, so he was my friend. I went off on a tangent there. But I felt him trying. So I'm trying to say our telepathic communication was extremely strong, which you probably understand with your own animals. And so I felt him. Even though he was dead, I felt him bothering me all the time. Like, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in. And I was trying to tell him, like, you can't, So I feel like he didn't quite understand. Anyways, but I felt that. And I wonder if some of you have had that experience after an animal's passed.
Hello, podcast fans. If you're looking for a new podcast, if you enjoy articles, books, pop culture, and hilarity, try listening to the Brain Candy Podcast.
That's right. The Brain Candy Podcast has over 500 episodes of educational hilarity to satiate your learning needs. Just search for the Brain Candy Podcast on your podcast app or click the link in the show notes.
Running an online business requires passion, knowledge, and a lot of dedication. Adding the complexities of setting up and managing hosting for your website piles on more work when you already have so many plates spinning. Whether you manage one WordPress website or dozens, Kinsta's managed solutions give you access to a platform that's optimized for the fastest speed, has enterprise-grade security features, and is powered by an intuitive custom dashboard with everything you need to manage your sites efficiently. Plus, Kinsta provides human-only WordPress expert support, which is available 24/7, 365 to assist with even the most complex sites. Forget frustrating AI chatbots. Kinsta gives you complete peace of mind by ensuring that your WordPress sites are always online, secure, and performing at their best. Start your journey with Kinsta today and get your first month free. Don't have time to migrate your site? Kinsta takes care of everything for you. Learn more at kinsta.com/podcast. That's KINSTA.com/podcast.
Okay, number 2. They will touch you. I've had other cats who've passed do this to me too. If you're ever laying in bed, you'll feel them like, I don't know, you know that feeling when you're in bed and a cat jumps up or your dog jumps up and you feel it, but nobody's there. I've had that happen a lot, but Rocky, he was a special guy. Some may use the word jerky to describe his personality. So you got to remember their personalities. It's just how he was. So a lot of our relationship would take place at night because I'm a terrible insomniac. So I got up maybe 2 days after he passed and I was walking downstairs like I do to try to get sleepy again. And I tripped over a cat. I did that thing, you know, like when the cats get in between your legs and you're like, oh gosh, stop? What are you doing? Like that. No cat there though. But I tripped over a cat. My feet felt fur. I tripped over a cat, but I do have 2 other cats there. It wasn't them. They were nowhere to be seen. And I know it was Rocky saying hi by trying to trip me. And it's important. That's why I say like this is number 3. They will mirror your relationship in their messages. So how your relationship is with them, whatever, you know, you have a dog, you have a cat, you have a horse, you have your own kind of little relationship. They like this, they do this to you, you know, their little quirks, they know your quirks, all that stuff. Know that when they pass, because when they come back to you, they're going to bring elements of that into their messages. So for example, he was the only cat I have that scratches the furniture. Okay. And, I was laying on the couch and I felt the couch and I heard a cat scratching on the couch. Like my head's I'm laying down. So my head's down. And so it's on the other side where he would always scratch. Now in my head, immediately I'm like annoyed because I'm like, what is this? What is one of the other cats pick up his habit or something? What is this? Because that's a Rocky thing and he's gone. And I go to look like, which cat's doing this now? And no one's there. Not one cat. Nobody's there. And I felt the couch, move because he was a powerful guy and I heard it. No cat there. So I knew that was him. I knew that was him trying to get my attention because he would do that to get my attention. He did that on purpose when I'd lay on the couch. I don't know. He just liked to see me move instead of relax. So that was his way of saying hi to me. Number 4, and this is for people who've passed too, but electronic surges. So I have in the cat room is, the laundry room too. So right after, I want to say the day I said I have 2 other cats. So I'm in that room the day he died and I'm replacing the water and the food like I always do. And the light just blows out right over me. So, and Scott was real freaked out because that's a brand new light bulb and it didn't just like fizzle. It like blew out where we had to, like when the glass breaks and you got to figure out how to get the rest of the light bulb out of there. Like it blew. And it was surgy for a couple days, even after that, even after a new bulb was in. Of course you can say, oh, it's, the electric. Of course you can say all that stuff. I know, I get it. But I choose to believe that's Rocky. And I'll tell you why. And I say this with all mediumship episodes, just flip and go with it. Just go with it. Can you imagine being on the other side and you're trying to contact somebody and they just keep coming up with logical explanations why that's not you? Don't do that to them, And I get a little passionate about that because I'm a medium and I read so many dead people and dead animals, and I see the effort they're trying to put into contacting you. And so many of us, because we're trying to save our own disappointment, oh, that was nothing. It was nothing. It was nothing. And, probably not you listening, but you know what I'm talking about, who do that. And it's like, just whatever, like risk versus reward. So you feel foolish if you're not right. Who cares? Who cares? So anyway, so electronic surges, because that was really weird. And then it stopped. Now it's fine. Remember, I was telling you I felt him trying to push in, come back, come back, come back. I want to say about a week and a half after he died, I had this dream. Because that's my fifth one here, dreams. They will come to you in dreams. And I've had dreams of other animals who've passed, who've come to me. And I've shared those with you, but this one was different. And we have a patio door. So I was in the dream, which felt very real. I'm pushed up against the patio door, which is just glass. And I'm pushed up against it. And I see him on the other side. Now, animals don't talk. They do one better. They give you energy and pictures and feelings. And I got the feeling from Rocky where he was, here we go again. I got the feeling from Rocky. So I'm putting it into words because this wasn't in words. It was a feeling or a download. I got a feeling from Rocky that he's trying to teach me this is what it is. You see me, but I can't pass through the glass, and he can't pass through the glass. The glass that's the separation between this side and the other side. And I got him trying to now show me, see, that's what it is. That's why I can't get through. See, teaching me, like showing me. I hope that makes sense. I woke up. It was very real to me because I know it was a visitation. And I was just, wow, he was trying to comfort me at that point and try to show me, like, look, here it is. I found the problem. There's a separation between the worlds now. So he's here, but he's not here. It's a very alternate plane situation where he can sometimes cross through to do things. And this is with your loved ones on the other side too. They can cross through to do things. I don't know what the rules are. And Rocky didn't know what the rules were, but he was showing me as best as he could what that feels or looks like. In a way I understood because, the glass for him as a cat was a barrier between inside and then outside. That glass was, I can't go through that. So he's trying to show me that's exactly what the other side's like. You can't go through it, but you can see it and you can interact with it in some ways. It was very insightful. And it was something that like I knew, but to see it that way and to be explained, me feeling like my own cat explained that to me was kind of powerful. 6. They sure do appreciate being remembered. And I feel like that's something that it's really hard to do. I want to say 2 weeks after he died, I was on a hike with my family and my one daughter just starts crying. I mean, we weren't even talking about anything. I'm like, what? She's like, I miss Rocky. And I'm like, I know. I know. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Because what happens is that's what we'll all just do randomly to each other. Like, I miss him. I just miss him. I miss this. I miss that. It's really hard. But I know when you feel sad, sometimes you also feel them. So it's hard to feel sad like this, like vulnerable, but it's also comforting because that missing is some sort of connection to them. We buried him in our backyard because I don't know, I just wanted him near me. So that was my choice because I couldn't imagine him not near me. And we planted this beautiful bush and it's just really flowery. And I feel like every time I see it, I think of him. And I hope that memory and that is a connection that he feels as well. And I know he does. The last thing, this is kind of funny. They can come through others too, because Rocky had, he had friends, he had people friends. And one of them was my neighbor, my across the street neighbor who loved him. And she gave me the most beautiful gift. She gave me a pillow that had his picture on it. So it's like a pillow that's shaped like Rocky with his picture on it. Of course, when she gave it to me, like a mess. But I actually really love it because it looks just like him. It's like a, I don't know, like laser printed superimposed picture of the cat. I think it's a great gift to give to somebody who's lost an animal, by the way. Anyhow, she was very close to him. She used to watch him all the time, you know, when I went away, and she would just always say hi to him, come over and say hi to him. So the house, back to the electronic thing. Oh, she was watching the cats, and she texts me because I'm in, I think, North Dakota or something. And she texts me like, your alarm won't stop going off. This is her first time watching the cats without Rocky there. And she's like, your alarm won't stop going off. I don't know what to do. And I joked with her. I'm like, oh my gosh, I bet that's Rocky saying hi to you. You know, because there's no reason why our alarm's not even hooked up or anything. But sometimes it does act up with mediumship things. It's usually my barometer to how much activity is happening in my house, actually. And I realize that this could totally be explained in a different way. Don't trust me, I get that. But it was just a joke I told her. Anyways, then she has a dream. I want to say a few weeks after that, and she tells me, oh my gosh, I had a dream about Rocky, and it felt so real, and he was wearing a bell on his collar. Now, if you know Rocky, there's no way that cat's ever wearing a collar or a bell. He was very, you know, hardcore. Like, he's not doing that. He's too cool for that, right? But I'm like, oh, I wonder if the bell is him saying, hey, that alarm was me, you know? And I think, like, just having fun with it and playing with it, and then also believing it, and just asking questions and having conversations about it, it keeps them very close to us. I wanted to thank you if you made it this far. I appreciate you listening to my story, and I appreciate you listening to what Rocky taught me, and hopefully he taught you some things too. And I, of course, would love to hear about how your pets on the other side communicate with you over on the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family page. I'll put up a special post dedicated to this because I feel like we need to hear the signs that our pets are connecting. So, you know, when you read somebody else's, you can, oh, that happened to me too. Oh, that is a sign, you know, and then it just helps improve the connection. I really appreciate you all the time. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you listening to this. You know, you all are my family, and when I go through something, I feel like, you know, I want to tell you about it. And here's that. And this podcast is for you and about you. And I'm so glad you spent some time with us today.